Yeah, look, I thought their effort and commitment to get at Fremantle. I thought their effort all game was pretty good. I really couldn't fault that. We dropped off a little bit in the first quarter, but yeah, their effort at it, their ability to kick the ball back to them and at times handball the ball back to them, just I think sucks the goodness out of them to an extent. They work so hard and their effort was good. I'm not quite sure how many goals would have come from just unpressured kicks back to the opposition and just put us under the pump, and then just to continually cop that made life very hard for ourselves. But they were able to continually stick at it with cracking in and giving some kind of effort that we're after.
Would you say that still in the second quarter when you should have had an advantage from that win show up?
Yeah. Once again, I thought towards the last 10 minutes they started gain some ascendancy with some contested footy, and we just went away a little bit from getting some outside ball on them, which I thought for the first 15 were really good at spreading and getting some width with their ball, and they were able to bring us back into the clinches and turn around a little bit. So saying that, I still thought it was good. I just thought the second quarter we allowed them to dictate around the stoppages. They pulled us apart a little bit in there with some numbers around, and it wasn't until half time to be able to rectify that again.
I don't know who wants to answer this best, either you, Matthew, or you, John, but when there are those dry-up periods and they're rather long, what should be happening, or what aren't you doing that arrests the team getting away from?
Look, it's our ability to move the ball better. If you want to talk about arresting the ability to get the game back on your half, you need to get it out of your back 50. And too many times do we just absorb multiple inside 50s, which makes it very hard. So you can put extra numbers back there, it doesn't help you when you come out. I just thought we turned the ball over far too easy coming out of our back half, which gave them some ascendancy in continually developing and being on top of us in the game, which just put you under the pump even more.
Is that because you're not winning enough in the middle at times?
Yeah, it can be. Stuff in there was a bit better today than it has been the last couple of weeks, but just also our spread from there, trying to find space and then using the pill once we've won it. We're just letting ourselves down, as Matty said. So,
yeah, I thought the contested stuff, we weren't able to peg back what it was during the second quarter, but our clearance stuff, our tackling, it was pretty good today, considering they had some dominance with hit-outs, as every team does against Sandilands. So I thought that was a positive for us to take out of that, but obviously just not able to generate enough inside 50s after quarter time.
So where's the big picture?
Big picture, the effort and the way they went about the footy today, that's what we need, and that's what we had our first month. That's what we hadn't quite had on long enough periods the previous 2 weeks. And we've got some areas to tidy up with our foot skills, but it doesn't happen overnight.
Didn't you say not happen overnight? But should you be making more progress by that?
On
the whole thing, the whole where you are, not just.
We've made progress. On the win-loss, it hasn't happened, but we have made progress. We've had young players play this year that have certainly improved. The 2 players who brought into our club, or 3 players, have certainly improved in their footy, McCarthy, Ebert and Renouf. Redden was playing some good footy. Youngie showed some stuff today. Wingard did. Westhoff's improved his footy. Our key backs have been good. But we just haven't had enough of that. So individually in our areas we've improved, but haven't given us a win-loss, which in AFL footy there's a lot of focus on it. It's a high performance thing. We've got to have wins, and we haven't been able to have enough of them. So therefore we're under scrutiny, and that's the way it is. But we have improved, and I know our supporters will be hurting as much, if not more, than what we're doing with where we're at and not being able to get over the line. But if you just delve into wins and losses, you won't see an improvement. If you delve a bit deeper, you do see an improvement.
Was it today's performance enough to ease the pressure on yourself?
No, we lost. So that'll continue until we get better results, no doubt. That's the lay of the land.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
What did you tell them at 3/4 time within 4 kicks and whatever breeze?
Look, keep at them. I thought our pressure was on them was pretty good, and the game was probably a little bit ugly with some turnovers. But our ability just to try and play on a lot quicker between the arcs, and I thought 3 or 4 times in the first 8 minutes we actually looked like we were going to score, and we just missed simple handballs through the middle of the ground that turned it over, and and that really hurt us and sucked the wind out of us a little bit, but I thought they kept on fighting towards the end.
With the results not going your way at the moment, what do you do to make sure that morale remains high?
Oh, look, it's not an easy thing to do, but it's where we're at. There's a lot worse things going on in the world, and we've got to remind ourselves we're here to be very good footballers, and we want to be a good football club, and individually we want to be good footballers. So we're disappointed, and you know, it's been a while since we've had a win now, and that starts to grate on everybody, but we're in a professional environment, and individually we have to learn to be able to pick ourselves up and come ready to train and get better this week, and look forward to North Melbourne Saturday. The sooner or the quicker we drop away from that and decide this is too hard and it's not worth it, or I'm not good enough, or he's not good enough, that kind of stuff, is when you start to disintegrate inside and you start to lose what you're about. And this group is going to hang tough together, and they'll get through that.
Matthew, on that memory of last year, those very issues about when it seemed to you did drop away, what lessons do you take from that to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Look, I think we've our players have certainly learnt from that, and I think we'll pick up on it and you've got to be able to smell it when it's coming, and I certainly don't have any sense of that coming at all. So, you know, the players, that was towards the end of last year, but you know, I think they're a lot better prepared to make sure that doesn't happen. But hanging in games and being close makes you feel good for a certain amount of time, but doesn't make you feel good the longer it goes on, and that's where it's at the moment.
John, you're new to the group, so it's hard to make a comparison, but what do you know of it that suggests that it won't all fall apart like it did last year?
Well, we've got belief in each other, and we've got belief in Matty and our game plan. We've been letting ourselves down in quarters here and there, and obviously with our disposal, so we're confident that we're good enough to match it with a lot of sides, and we've shown that. You know, we've come up against some really quality opponents in the last 6-7 weeks, and you know, apart from last week where we let ourselves down for a lot of the game, we've come and played, and we've been competitive, and you know, a lot of the players are developing and getting better. So yeah, I don't think that's going to happen at all. I'm not worried.
One observation that's made by a few people is that when you get scoreboard pressure on, particularly you fall behind, that you're not taking the game on anymore. At the start, you took the game on, and then when you fell behind, it seemed like you found it totally slow pace for the game. Is there a reason why you lose that confidence to keep attacking?
Not really. I think that's just human nature. When you're losing, you probably go into your shell a little bit, and that's something that we need to address as a group. And you know, we've got a lot of young kids, so we need to tell them just keep taking the game on. You know, just keep trying to peg back the loss and try and get it forward to our tall forwards, and instead of just turning it over in the back line.
I think there's also, once you start losing contested possession, you're playing the game in your back half. When we're able to do that, we're able to maintain some momentum on the scoreboard. When we're not, it puts us up against us, and that's what was a reflection of today.
Can you manufacture something that makes them more confident? What's the way to handle that?
No, look, there's no magic wand. You can go to the movies all week, you can not train, you can train harder, you can do running circuits, you can do all that stuff. That might have a 1 week impact, but it doesn't actually improve you as a group and make you keep going forward. So we've just got to go back and review it, regardless of, and review it and treat it as if it's a win, loss or a draw, and make sure our training standards are high and come into the game. And that might seem simple, and people might say, well, drop 10 people, train harder, train longer. That doesn't have the desired result. It might for 1 week, but it's not the way to go about having a good group together and developing them and teaching them what they need to do to be very good footballers.
Does it still come down to the quality of the group?
Oh, look, it does. Our ability to hit targets better is something we've got to continually develop. Life's too hard nowadays in AFL footy with the amount of pressure, and Fremantle's pressure today was fantastic. The ability to shut down the options and put a lot of heat on you. If you just miss targets and give it straight back to them, especially if it's in your back half and not in your territory, life's very difficult. And that happens all over the game. So there's a little bit of that. That's why we have to make sure our contested stuff and our stoppage stuff is very good to give us an ability to play the game in our forward half rather than trying to defend too much.
Would you understand that if there's a criticism that comes back to that answer, that perhaps you should have made more progress by that?
In what regards?
I understand you were far back last year, but probably there's been an expectation, particularly after the pre-season, that you've begun to clean it up, that you'll be far further progressed at this time of the year.
In what regards, though?
Skill errors, turnovers, the way in which you play, which way you take
I think developing skill doesn't happen over 6 months of a pre-season. I'd be surprised if any team that's significantly improved that. What we wanted to improve on was our strength and size, our ability to compete at stoppages in contested ball, because we thought that was an easier avenue for us to improve our list and we had more players aligned to that. So we want to be a lot stronger in that regard. And then developing our skills, we want to bring in players who we thought we could do that, like John, and we drafted guys, Chad Wingard, good users of the ball. But we need to continually put our better players, get them more of the ball. And today, we had a couple of midfielders that didn't have enough of the ball, and they are good kickers of the ball. So we can improve on that. You can't improve on 20 assets of what you're going to do during the year, and during the pre-season we're focused on 3 or 4 things that have improved from last year. And at the end of the year, you'll be able to tell significantly whether we've improved on that or not. We won 3 games last year, so at the end of the year, what does an improvement look like? That'll be able to be told whether it's wins or losses, but we're more concerned about the process, what's going to make us a good team.
So that's what you're saying, let's leave it till the end of the year before this is all...
No, I think it's round 7, and we're saying we haven't improved on last year. So I'm not sure. Have Geelong gone backwards? Have Collingwood gone backwards? Have Hawthorn gone backwards? Just because of where they are, wins and losses? I'm not sure. Have West Coast gone ahead? So I'm not sure you can just go in round 7 where people sit in the ladder whether they've improved or haven't improved at the moment.
Is this going to take longer than we've imagined?
I'm not sure how long you might have thought it's going to take.
The key to all that is still that issue about Adelaide Oval. There's been this build-up that you won't limp into Adelaide Oval, that you'll deliver new home. Is that become a deadline for you that's just unrealistic for you?
No, I spoke about this earlier in the week, I think, to you, Rich. 2014 is as far away as I can think of. I'm worried about how we're going to improve against North Melbourne. What are we going to look like in 6 weeks? What are we going to look like at the end of the year? And then how are we going to improve next year? In 2 years' time, we'll be a lot better team. No doubt about that. But in 6 weeks' time, I want to be a better team than where we are now. And by the end of this year, I want to be a better team, and we will be. So for me, when we're going to be a good team, the goalposts haven't changed on that.
So what should you look like at the end of the year then?
We'll be better than where we were last year, not just in wins and losses, but in the categories that are significant to make sure you're a competitive, effort-based team.
Injury-wise, how did you come out today's match? Aaron went off late in the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he's tweaked an ankle or something like that. Apart from that, that's about it, I think.